Hello, this is OC Skywatch. It is the 28th of February 2016, a little after 8:40 p.m. and I'm just going to give you an update on the drought situation. Recently, the weather controllers have been using heavy aerosols along with ionospheric heaters to keep the rain out of California for the most part. It's been very, very dry. Okay, let's go and play this. This animation shows February 26th. 3 to 6:30 Zulu, and you can notice right away that there's a low pressure system, rather big one off the west coast. Unfortunately though, it's horribly disfigured. There's another right angle front, as you can see. See, look how straight this thing is. That doesn't look natural. And down to the south, there's a front that's wanting to go into our state and deliver quite a bit of rainfall. But as you can clearly see, there are heavy aerosols being laid in this front here. Let's slow this down. The only precipitation that I could see in this front here is just right in this area. Any further south, no. By the way, to the west there's a jet stream flow. A lot of moisture involved. But as you can see, a lot of aerosols in here. No precipitation is going to come out of this at all. Sure, the moisture plume will go into California, but there won't be any rain with it. Okay, let's go into shortwave now, same time. Again, you see the right angle near Alaska. There seems to also be an odd clockwise rotation here. Let's go slow that down. I don't know, it's not going in a counterclockwise movement as we would expect for low pressure. Yeah, that's kind of strange. Anyways, yeah, here's a pretty good view of the right angle. Let's stop this. Yeah, right there. It's almost 90 degrees. And again to the south, a lot of aerosols are being laid, and that's going to minimize the precipitation going into California. Only extreme northern California is going to get some of this precipitation. All this stuff right here is not going to deliver, and you know what that means. That means more drought for us. The aerosols are going to create that capping inversion, help with the ionospheric heaters, and keep high pressure in place. I also see right off the Southern California coast an area expanding out. Looks like dry descending air. That could explain the lack of clouds off the coast of Southern California and northern Baja. It's just very open. Okay, this is a few hours later. Well, a little over 12 hours later. This is February 26th, 18:30 to 22 Zulu. You can see that the front is going right into California now. Low pressure's spinning off the coast. Unfortunately though, the only rain is in extreme northern California. These clouds right here are legitimate. The rest are aerosol clouds. Let's actually pan a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Almost all the state is getting completely plastered with this crap. And off to the west a bit, this moisture plume is being heavily sprayed into. That's going to go into California and deliver no rainfall. There is a low pressure that's forming out of some of the moisture, but unfortunately though it's going to be broken up, just like the storm that was right over here a few hours back. This is the remnants of it. It has been completely squashed. Okay, this is visible here. Now let's look at California. You can see that only legitimate clouds are over extreme northwestern California. The rest of stuff is completely fake, man-made cloud canopy. A lot of these real clouds are being suppressed by the capping inversion and the descending dry air. See this little explosion here, and a little bit to the south. Yeah, it's more pronounced. Yeah, there's definitely descending dry air in this front. That's helping to halt development. And again, we're seeing quite a bit of clearing off the Southern California and northern Baja coast. Looks like there's a little explosion right here occurring. And to the west a bit, see aerosols being lain. That's going to keep precipitation at bay in California. Have a flow going right into this low pressure. They don't want moisture fields to merge, so yeah, that's what they do. They just have a bunch of dry air around here and aerosols. We're getting screwed big time in our state. That's the bottom line. You can see this low pressure developing out of this moisture field. Unfortunately though, it's going to be crushed just like this one system right here. It's either killed off or heavily suppressed, so it doesn't help our drought situation one bit. See some clockwise rotation right near the core of this thing. There actually seems to be two low pressure systems now I think of it. And there's clockwise in between two systems. If the weather controllers would have just left this alone, this thing would have turned into a pretty big low pressure system. Nice spiral. Probably would dump us a good few inches of rain in California, which we desperately need. This is a few hours later, February 27th, 1:30 to 5 Zulu. You can see that the moisture field behind this front is coming in. Heavy chemtrails over it to prevent precipitation. Keep high pressure in place, of course. See a clockwise rotation in here. A little bit of rain in Northern California and Oregon, but it isn't much. This low pressure system is in the process of being squashed. See clockwise rotation here. West side is very weak. Seems very familiar. Just look at the last video. The west side was very weak as well. And the system's not going to bring us any sort of precipitation because of the high pressure in many areas. This is the shortwave loop, and yeah, pretty much the same thing. Legitimate clouds and precipitation in Northern California and Oregon. Most of California, though, is completely plastered. And just offshore, see clouds trying to develop and bring some precipitation, but unfortunately though, it's not going to be allowed to do anything. And towards the west side of the system, it's very weak clockwise rotation, very familiar. It's no good. This thing would have been a huge low pressure if they hadn't screwed with it. Okay, let's look at the Doppler radar and show you that the only precipitation that came out of this storm here was in Northern California and Oregon. This is for the same day, pretty much. Okay, let's play this. Yeah, isn't that sad? Have all this potential for precipitation, but the only stuff that falls is extreme Northern California and Oregon. Down here in Southern California and most of California, there's absolutely nothing. Okay, this is the 1000 millibar relative humidity map. This is for February 27th, 0 Zulu. There's quite a bit of moisture off the coast of California. As you head inland, though, it gets pretty dry. A little less than 30% of most places. Okay, 850 millibars, 5,000 feet. There's a huge amount of dry air behind this front coming in and ahead of the front at this level. The chemtrails along with the ionospheric heaters are helping to dry things out. 700 millibars is even drier, 10,000 feet. Again, we see dry air behind this front and dry air ahead of the front. Gets drier as you head more towards the south, just like in the 850 millibar view. Okay, 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. There seems to be even more dry air. Most of this front has less than 40% humidity in it. There seems to be a little bit more moisture behind this front at this level, but it's not much. Also, see this extremely dry air at the core of this low pressure. Very interesting. California is being sucked dry. At 300 millibars, 30,000 feet, there's a huge amount of moisture above us. There's no reason why that front shouldn't have brought at least 1 to 2 inches of rain. Probably would have brought more. Yeah, it's just very interesting. It's always between 18,000 and 5,000 feet where we see a lot of the dry air. Makes me wonder what's going on here. Again, we see dry air at the core of this low pressure, less than 10% humidity at this level. And behind the front, a little bit of dry air. Okay, this is the sea surface pressure analysis for February 27th, 0 Zulu. There's a huge high pressure in place at 1023 millibar. That's on top of a front, by the way, which I think is very odd. High pressure all throughout this area. That's not helping with precipitation totals. There's always high pressure in between these systems. They're never allowed to go and merge into one huge system, which is kind of interesting. You know, I've noticed now, at least 8 years, we've rarely gotten a few days of continuous moderate rain. Before that, that used to happen quite a bit. Now it's just completely screwed up. And you see this low pressure is fairly strong at 964 millibars. This thing could have brought a lot of rainfall if it hadn't been suppressed and these storms here were allowed to go and merge. Okay, 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. See, there's some high pressure over California indicated. And that's in the front, which is very interesting. Ionospheric heaters are helping to maintain the high pressure, I believe. This high pressure stuff is very stationary, as you're going to see. A little bit of low pressure off the coast of Oregon and Northern California, but to the south is high pressure. And to the west, there's low pressure that's indicated. Off the coast of Central California and Northern California, there's low pressure indicated, but Southern California, there's high pressure indicated. And to the west, a little bit of low pressure here, but it's not marked. And you see high pressure right here in between the two systems. This is long wave for February 28th. You can see that this low pressure system that was right here has been crushed. Just look at that for a second. Very odd shape. See clockwise rotation here a little bit. And down to the south seems to be moisture field wanting to come into California again. Unfortunately though, there's a lot of heavy spraying going on. There's not a whole lot of precipitation that's going to make it into California. Just look at that. Pretty nasty. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this thing right here, if they just released it, it would turn into huge low pressure and deliver quite a bit of rainfall into the state. There's plenty of weather out here, people. Unfortunately, though, you don't see meteorologists like Dallas Raines or Jackie Johnson or whatever talking about it. I just noticed this low pressure right here showing up. It's rapidly intensifying. This thing, I bet, would have turned into a huge low pressure if they hadn't screwed with it. You're going to see in the loop at the very end of this video that it starts falling apart, and that's very recently. Oh wow. There's high pressure indicated here, right next to low pressure. It's a clockwise rotation. Yeah, that's very typical. These low pressure systems that have been crushed are just looping around in like a pinwheel. Just look at that for a second. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, Mother Nature's determined to bring some weather into the West Coast, but she's being prevented by all this weather modification crap going on. Anyways, off the coast of Central California and Southern California, there seems to be an area of clearing. I think it's being caused by the ionospheric heaters. Of course, they're going to use everything at their disposal to go and keep weather out of the state as much as possible. Okay, let's look at the water vapor map now. Again, you see a big moisture field that wants to come into the state. Unfortunately though, they're spraying the crap out of it. Let's go and slow this down. Just look at all this stuff appearing. Yeah, that's going to create that capping inversion and help with the high pressure, so we get nothing. See this low pressure trying to form, but unfortunately though, it's not going to deliver. And to the west, you could see strong clockwise rotation is near the west side of this storm. It actually seems a little bit weaker than you would expect. Anyways though, just look at this entire mess. Okay, let's look at the sea surface pressure analysis. This is for February 28th, 0 Zulu. Pretty strong high pressure indicated off the west coast, 1023 millibar. And to the northwest, see all these lows indicated. Quite a few of them, actually. Plenty of weather out here that has the potential to deliver rain into the west coast. Okay, this is 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. Pretty big low pressure indicated here. There's also a little low right here and here indicated. And again, you see high pressure that's parked off the west coast. It hasn't really moved much at all. Okay, 300 millibars, 30,000 feet. Two lows are indicated here, and there's high pressure off the west coast, parked. Okay, this is 1000 millibar relative humidity map, December 28th, 0 Zulu. A lot of humidity off the coast. Inland spots are quite a bit drier. Okay, 850 millibars, 5,000 feet. There's a ton of dry air off of the California coast and Baja. You have to go out a few hundred miles before things start getting humid again. Chemtrails and ionospheric heaters are drastically drying out the atmosphere, so no precipitation occurs. The chemtrails also create a capping inversion, prevent the lift, which is required for decent rainfall. Okay, this is 700 millibars, 10,000 feet. More humidity off the coast, but not too much. Over Southern California, it's pretty dry. For the most part, it's less than 40%. As you head south off the coast of Baja, the very dry air is still here at this layer. Okay, 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. Some dry air off the west coast, of course. And there's a little bit of humidity over Southern California, but still, man, just all the dryness. Okay, 300 millibars, 30,000 feet. Again, we're seeing quite a bit of humidity at this level. Should be raining instead of having persistent drought. Okay, this is February 28th, 20 to 23:30 Zulu. Today was a horrible spraying day. See heavy chemtrails being laying all throughout the state because there's a moisture field coming in. They cannot allow any rainfall to come out of this. They want to keep high pressure in the area. Let's just zoom in a little more, and yeah, you see chemtrails actually being laid down. Crazy, especially over the valley region, crop areas. There's many agendas here. Biotech, profiteering, water rights, etc. A lot of reason to do this to the state. Pretty sure this moisture field wants to turn into a huge low pressure system, so they cannot have that. And to the west a bit, this low pressure has gotten a bit bigger. Unfortunately though, towards the core there's clockwise rotation on the west side. Let's go slow that down. They're shutting down weather left and right, people. Seems to be clockwise rotation right here. Bit interesting. Should all be going counterclockwise. But yeah, we're seeing some weird activity clockwise. Alright, this is the visible view here. Same time. Again, you see the heavy chemtrails being laid down over California. Also, there seems to be quite an opening in the clouds off the Southern California and Central California coast. Very strange shapes here. It's kind of interesting. We usually see clouds off the coast, but yet we're not seeing it because the ionospheric heater is pressing down dry air Chemtrails are helping with that, and they're also creating that capping inversion, which is just going to prevent a low pressure system. See, this whole thing is very complicated. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. The weather controllers are shutting down our weather. And just see the strong high pressure ridge off the coast. That's an interesting feature. See these clouds disappearing. Yeah, that's caused by the ionospheric heaters. Anyways, though, just look at the spray. You even see some natural clouds below the spray here. They're definitely trying to prevent convection, keep things at bay. And you can see this low pressure again. A lot of aerosols in here. West side seems weak. See some clockwise rotation, just a little bit. High pressure indicated behind this front. Interesting. This is the estimated precipitation total map from February 21st, 12 Zulu to February 28th, 12 Zulu. See that most of California hasn't received any sort of precipitation. These things right here are just little anomalies that popped up. There actually wasn't any sort of precipitation. Bit of noise. I think these little patches here are just noise. Pretty much the only part of the state that got a little bit of precipitation is extreme northern California. Okay, this is the sea surface pressure analysis for February 29th, 0 Zulu. It's a leap year. That's why it says February 29th. You can see that there's high pressure still off of our coast. It's marked again. It has expanded quite a bit. There's low pressure indicated right here. Of course, that's going to be blocked by all this high pressure. This is 1026 millibar, so it's gotten a bit stronger. Okay, this is 500 millibar, 18,000 feet. There's high pressure indicated off the Southern California and northern Baja coast. There's a little bit of low pressure off the coast of Northern California and Oregon, Washington as well. You know, this high pressure is pretty much staying in the same area. But what's very interesting is high pressure is right here. There's a little bit of low pressure here. It's all mixed in different layers. See this low pressure to the west indicated. Wait, there's actually two of them. Surprisingly, this one seems a bit stronger by a few millibars. This is 300 millibar, 30,000 feet. See that there's a bit of low pressure off the coast of Northern California. Off the coast of Central and Southern California, again, there's high pressure. So it really hasn't moved that much. Again, we see low pressure out in this area. A lot of weather out here, I'm telling you. Okay, this is 1000 millibar. This is February 29th, 0 Zulu. A lot of humidity off the coast. Drier as you head inland. 850 millibars. Wow. A lot more dry air again at this level. It extends from the coast of Oregon all the way down into Baja. Very, very dry. Okay, 700 millibars, 10,000 feet. Huge amount of dry air over California and off the coast. The air gets drier, quite a bit drier as you head towards the south. Okay, this is 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. Wow, there's quite a bit of moisture over central and northern California. But in southern California, it's quite different, quite a bit drier. And then again, it extends way down to the south. Yeah, that explains a lot of aerosols over the state. Want to keep that capping inversion, prevent the lift that's needed for a good amount of precipitation. Okay, 300 millibars, 30,000 feet. All of California has a lot of humidity over at this level. No reason why it shouldn't be raining. There's a little bit of dry air off the coast of California, but it isn't that strong. Still though, wow. A lot of moisture's going above us. Okay, let's look at the Doppler radar. This is for today, 12:40 p.m. to 1:55 p.m. Not really any sort of reasonable precipitation in California. Very dry. Okay, this is the NASA World View. We're going to start at February 25th. Okay, first of all, what you notice is pretty much the right angle front here. We saw that at the beginning of the video. It's pretty much right angle. Let's go look into this a bit. Yeah, definitely see a bit of wavy patterns and wispy stuff all throughout this thing. That's an interesting thing here. So there's a lot of clearing in this low pressure. That's the ionospheric heaters doing that. Seeing a bit of aerosols being laid just west of this angle. Just take a look at that for a second. See a lot of clearing off the central California and southern California coast. Definitely noteworthy. This is a funny formation here. Probably this ring is being caused by descending dry air from the ionospheric heaters. And to the north, starting at central California, there's a lot of aerosols appearing. And that's because there's a lot of moisture going above the state. These aerosols are being laid all throughout the state here. Very blatant near San Jose, San Francisco area. See these wispy things? And it makes my skin crawl just looking at it. See some spray right here. Wow, there even seems to be a circular ring off the central California and southern California coast just ahead of this front. Yeah, I think you saw that towards the beginning of the video. Just look at the shape. It's like a hole right here. It's pretty circular. See the boundary around here? Roll clouds. It's just part of their effort to keep weather out of California. And look at this front. It's all messed up because I could see aerosols in it and nasty stuff. Okay, this is February 26th. The front's starting to come into the area. There's a lot of heavy spraying all throughout California. See all these lines here? Yeah, that's a good shot. This is the LA area. See the trails all throughout. It's even more heavy offshore. Just look at all this crap. The clouds under this off-white stuff are legitimate, I believe. Standard marine clouds. Anyways, yeah, just off our coast and all throughout this front has completely been aerosolized. No rain's coming out of it. Let's pan up to the north now. See the trails all throughout California. San Francisco area got it really bad. All these clouds right as you head towards Northern California are legitimate. Unfortunately, though, you see some off-white stuff above these clouds that's going to reduce precipitation potential. Let's look over Northern Valley now. Yeah, heavy chemtrails. There should be a ton of rain over this area, but yet we're not seeing it. Okay, this is February 27th. Let's zoom in here. Yeah, you can see that there's still some leftover chemtrail stuff over Orange County and desert areas. Pretty much all this stuff has moved off to the east. Okay, let's go up towards Northern California. Heavy aerosols being laid above clouds that would have brought some more rainfall. Oh, here's a perfect example of what I'm trying to show you. The aerosols above the clouds. Yeah, there's basically a big giant smudge mess over Northern California. And off the coast, there's quite a bit of opening. Again. And off to the northwest a bit, this low pressure system that was forming has been completely obliterated. Let's look at the features in here. Yeah, definitely some man-made stuff going on in there. There's natural clouds, and then there's this stuff right here, this off-white stuff. Alright, this is the newly formed system right here just south of the Aleutian Islands. This thing could have turned into a massive spiral, but unfortunately though, they're keeping it at bay. They're even starting to destroy it. You're going to see it in a few minutes, the satellite loop. Oh, aerosols over here. Yeah, that's just absolute weather control. Okay, February 28th, this is today. This is insane what you see over California. Here's the Southern California area. Extremely heavy spraying as a moisture field is coming on shore, wanting to go and bring some rainfall. Look at all the lines showing up. It's very heavy, especially over the crop areas. Let's pan up more. Still very heavy. This is the San Francisco area. They got absolutely bombarded. The whole state has pretty much been plastered, top to bottom. Let's check out Northern California. They're getting hit really hard. Yeah, you see the legitimate clouds and the fake stuff. And out in the Pacific, here's this storm that's trying to spin up into something really major. Unfortunately though, the west side is not looking so good. The center looks a little bit disorganized. Yeah, that's what they do to systems they don't want coming into the west coast. They just completely destroy it. Oh, look at this right here. Yeah, it's very interesting looking at what's going on. See little wavy patterns, despite the fact that there's no mountains around. Probably indicates some radio frequency of some sort. Alright, I think that's it for the world view. Let's quickly show the sequence from the beginning of the video to the present. Zoom in a bit. Okay, we start off with a right angle storm, and then just we'll play this. That thing gets completely obliterated. Next system goes in. A lot of heavy aerosols over California. A lot of consistent moisture field wanting to come in. Okay, the second system has gotten completely destroyed. Here's this system right here that has formed. Unfortunately, though, it got completely obliterated. So let's watch this thing form again. Let's look for clockwise rotation towards the center. Yeah, there you go. Just a little bit of clockwise rotation right there. And it starts falling apart. Probably by tomorrow it's going to be completely gone. Let's play this a little bit faster. A little spray there. Interesting. By the way, this is from February 26th, 4 Zulu to February 29th, 4 Zulu. Should have said that at the beginning of this sequence. Oh well. Let's play this one more time and then we'll go on to the other view and call it a video. Okay. This is the water vapor. Let's zoom in here. It's the same time. Oh, this thing's browser's lagging a little bit. Okay, let's play now. First front's coming in. Gets completely aerosolized to death. No rain comes out of it. A little bit of rain up in Northern California. The system right here has been destroyed. They keep crushing these systems. Here are the strong systems forming. Unfortunately, though, it's completely getting smashed. Let's play this a few more times and call it a video. Anyways, you can see what's happening. Precipitation's being prevented from falling on the west coast. There's always a consistent high pressure right in this area. Very heavy over California as the moisture field comes on shore. Okay, let's speed this up a bit. This thing's losing shape here. Right. Alright, I think that's about it for this video. Thank you for watching, and please share.